So hey there, beautiful people. This is Lindy Ford, registered dietitian, clinical and licensed nutritionist, and nutrition detective. So I am starting a new series today. It is all about weight loss. And believe me, folks, I know from personal experience how complicated weight loss is. I was about 60 pounds overweight at one time. I have gone through many different stages of weight loss, and one of the big problems with me, as with I think about half of the population, is that we have blood sugar issues. And so we are called like the alternate metabolisms, that's what I call us, and we are the people that have the propensity of developing diabetes. And I tell people this all the time. I'm a diabetic ready to happen. And so my blood sugars go a little higher than the rest of the population. And I believe actually there might be more than 50%. It may be upwards of 70%. But I just want to make a couple points before I get into my big tip of the day. So I'm going to do a couple of these videos and I'm going to give you my best on weight loss, just my absolute best, things that are really going to help you, that you can take to the bank with you, because I believe that all of this is based in science, and also just the fact that I've worked with hundreds of people in helping them to lose weight, and they work in the long run. What I want to say to you is weight loss is complicated, like I said. But it is not just calories in, energy out. We thought that at one time. When I was trained in the early 90s at University of Maryland College Park, love the school, but that's what we were taught. We were taught all about calorie counting. We were taught all about BMIs. We were taught all about the calories in, energy out. And yes, we were taught about insulin and a lot of other things, but really that's what it boiled down to. You just have to take in less than what energy you're putting out. Well, here I am to tell you that calories do count. Yes, they do. For example, if your body needs 1,600 calories a day, you can't get away with eating 2,500 calories of really good nutrient-dense food and lose weight. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that calories are not all created equal. They're very different in what they do in the physiology of your body. So you throw in, here's the deal too, people are so different and weight loss is complicated. I have people coming into my office all the time. A lot of times, I would say about 80% of the time, these are women that are really struggling because of the hormonal imbalances. But I know they're not lying to me, and they're eating about 800 to 1,000 calories a day. That's not enough for me. I know that. And some of them are obese. And a lot of this is because it's complicated, because we've got gut health issues, we have autoimmune issues, we have thyroid issues, we have hormone issues. There are so many pieces of the weight loss puzzle. That is why I'm imploring each one of you to work with a professional, somebody who really understands this stuff if you want to lose weight for the long run. The reason for that is they can put all those pieces together and work with your unique physiology to help you to lose weight. And here's another thing I want to say about this. And that kind of gets me into my next point, is that weight loss is personal. So one person might have a different issue than another person, and you figure those out and you can kind of crack the code on that person. And you put all those pieces together. Here's the problem with a lot of the national weight loss programs or the really popular weight loss programs. Yes, many of them work. And I get excited when they work, and I'm happy when they work for people. But many of them don't work in the long run. The statistics are abysmal, guys. They're abysmal. I've got people coming into my office all the time. One of the national weight loss programs they've been on has gotten them to lose 50 pounds, and they're up 55 pounds when they walk in to see me. That's because it's not sustainable. So many of these programs cannot be sustained in the long run. And no weight loss program is effective or good or worth your money unless you can keep it off for at least 5 years. And what I tell my people is, this is a lifetime program. This is until you're 90, because when you're 90, I won't care anymore probably. But I do care now, and I do care that people keep weight off for an extended period of time. And like I said, it is personal to me. It's really personal because I have struggled my entire life. First of all, I was born kind of, I guess you would say, a foodie. I've always loved food, always loved carbohydrates, never met one I didn't love. So I want you to know that I struggle in this area. I will always struggle. Going into middle age is a challenge because of the hormone issues. I eat better than I have ever eaten right now in my life. And I'm at my ideal weight, but I'm still not where I was when I was 20 years old. So I can tell you that I feel better than when I was 20 years old, but I am not as thin as I used to be because of hormone balance. So it is complicated. And as we age, it gets more complicated because you're throwing in so many factors and so many things that slow down as we age. I just remember I've always loved food, and I remember one time my dad actually had a bet going on with one of his friends that when I was in high school, I was very thin when I was in high school because I was playing basketball 6 days a week. But I can remember one of his friends said that I couldn't eat this one entree at a restaurant, an Italian restaurant in Little Italy in Baltimore. My dad said, put some money down on the table. And guess what? My dad won $100 because I could eat the whole freaking thing. I was just one of those kids that could eat and eat and eat. And I have always kind of been like that. I love food and I love good food and I can eat a lot of it. So the other thing I wanted to tell you too is that weight loss, this is going to kind of rock some of your worlds, is not the primary goal. When someone comes in to see me, I said to them, that is not our primary goal. Weight loss is not it, because health needs to be your primary goal, folks. Health. A healthy body is at a good weight. An unhealthy body is not. Now, the opposite is not really true. That if you're thin, you're healthy. That's not true at all, because I have a lot of thin people that I see that are not necessarily healthy because of all kinds of other issues that they have. So it's not true, but a healthy body will be at a good weight and a healthy weight. So this is not just a physical problem. Also, it's a spiritual, it's an emotional problem. There's, if you have a ton of stress in your life, you are going to create the second hormone. I'm not going to talk about this hormone today as much as I'm going to talk about the first hormone, which is insulin, but you're going to create a lot of cortisol in your body. And so that's going to create a weight loss nightmare for you as well. The other thing I want to tell you too is that BMI, which is body mass index, is not always that accurate, because you can see these big bodybuilder guys, okay, they're going to be at a higher weight for their height, right? But they're going to have very little body fat. So really a body fat index is a better indication of how healthy your body is, and that's an important factor, and you may want to have something like that done. BMI just gives you a general idea, but it's not always accurate. Here's another reason, because like I said, there's a lot of quote unquote skinnies out there. You know, don't we all love them, love to hate them, but they are like the kind of people, oh, they can eat anything they want. Oh, well, you know what? And they still maintain a BMI that's in that range, that whatever range, you know, they put out there for them. But guess what? They're called the skinny fats. They still have a lot of fat around their visceral organs, and I like what Dr. Mark Hyman calls them, the TOFIs. You know what a TOFI is? They're thin on the outside, but fat on the inside. They still have a lot of body fat, but they still remain in that, I guess you'd say, healthy BMI range, and they're not healthy people. So BMI is not something that, you know, you need to hang a lot of confidence in, but it's just a basic indicator. You really do need to know how much fat your body has in it. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you right now the big one, the big kahuna. If you were to say, Lindy, give me the one thing that I can do differently, the one thing that is going to get me to that healthy weight, here's what I'm going to tell you. And I know for some of you, this is not surprising, and it may make some of you very depressed when I say this. but I see it time and time again, and I know that this works. And that is that you need to greatly reduce your refined grains, your starches, and most of your carbohydrates. Okay, I know I said it. I know none of you are happy about that, because most of us, I'd say a good 80 to 90% of us, are pretty much well addicted to them. Some of this problem is not even your fault. Some of these refined, I guess you'd say, starches or greens, carbohydrates, are snuck in to foods that we eat. You don't think of salad dressing as being an unhealthy food sometimes, but you know what? There's a lot of sugar in salad dressing. There's a lot of sugar in ketchup. There's a lot of sugar that snuck in to soups and stews and sauces and barbecue sauces. And you know, you might even say, a lot of people come in to me and say, well, I don't eat cookies, I don't eat cakes, I don't eat milkshakes or drink milkshakes. And I say, well, let's look at your food journal. Let's see where those insulin producing foods are. So what is it? It's what I just said. It's insulin. Insulin, insulin, insulin. We're creating too much of it. We are like just big old insulin containers walking around the earth, most of us. And the reason for that is because those carbohydrates raise blood sugar. In response to that blood sugar, insulin gets pumped out of the pancreas. And over time, it wears our cells out. We become insulin resistant. And if there's anything that insulin does, it stores fat. And it's really good at it. It is so good at its job. And you need to fire insulin to some degree, or at least let it go on vacation. Tell insulin to go on vacation. And by just reducing your starches, your refined grains, those kind of foods, you can do that. What it does is when you reduce insulin and reduce those carbohydrates, fats are able to leave the fat stores in the body, and they're able to be used for energy instead of carbohydrate. And that's a great thing, because that will reduce your body fat. And that's what we're all after. We're all after reducing body fat. So folks, this is bigger than any political debate, whether low carb or low fat is better for you. But here's what we know. Here's what we know. We know that low carb helps more with diabetes, heart disease, and some other diseases, okay? But again, it goes back to your physiology. What is your physiology? How do you deal with carbohydrate? And how fast does your blood sugar go up? And how much insulin are you pumping out? So that's one of the things you have to know. And when I say carbohydrate, I even mean the good carbs, like the oatmeals and the brown rices and sweet potatoes and those kind of things, okay? Some of that is okay, again, depending on your physiology, and everyone can have a little bit of it. But here's what we know. I just looked at a study recently that compared a group of men. It wasn't a very big study, but just compared a group of men. And here's what we know. They gave one group, it was higher fat, the other one was lower fat. The high fat group was low carb, the other one was higher carb, but there was no refined grains, there was no processed food. And they gave them a pound of vegetables a day. And both groups lost weight. Now, the low carb group had better blood sugar control, just saying, but both groups lost weight. So just take that and process it and think about that. And I know it wasn't a big study, but it was one that I just looked at. There are tons of studies out there, tons of studies. And if you take any group of people, and you reduce the refined carbohydrates, you reduce the starches, you increase the vegetables, even add good fats like avocado and olive oil and some of the good fats that are great for the brain, great for the blood sugar, as well as for the hormones, you are going to have people that are healthier and that are going to be at their healthy weight. So I'm gonna have more tips for you in the coming weeks. I can't wait. I really love this subject, and I just hope it helps you. So if it did, please like this video. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'd love for you to join our YouTube family here. And if you could like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, that'd be great too. And it was so great to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.